Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today's module is Introduction to Mobile Ad Hoc Network in the paper of Mobile Computing under subject of Information Technology. In this series of mobile computing, we have been learning how wireless communication plays a major role in recent times. So, today's topic we are going to understand how wireless communication is useful in establishing a kind of network which is completely established on the fly. So, the primary learning objective of this particular session will be starting with what is ad hoc network. We will see features of mobile ad hoc network, we will see challenges with mobile ad hoc network, the advantages and disadvantages of mobile ad hoc network, and also we will see about fundamentals of routing protocols before concluding the session. So, to start with our understanding of ad hoc network, we will first understand what the term ad hoc means. The ad hoc means temporary, or we can say on the fly or on demand. So, ad hoc network is nothing but a wireless kind of network which is established for fulfilling a specific purpose, and the complete setup is on the fly. Typical ad hoc network consists of mobile ad hoc network, vehicular ad hoc network, wireless sensor network. WSN, that is wireless sensor network, if we consider a very latest example of Android phones or you say the mobile phones to deal with changing channels or controlling set top box with the with the television. What we do is we just communicate with the set top box, we establish a network between mobile device and the set top box, and once the connection is established we can completely transfer the command or we can communicate in between the devices. Same way, if we consider the scenario of vehicular ad hoc network, what happens in routine life when we talk about traffic scenarios, need to set up a kind of network where the signals, the information regarding traffic, obstacles are needs to be passed to vehicles. So, in recent times vehicular ad hoc network provides a network such as the communication between the moving vehicles are playing a very good role in forming the network which is completely unplanned. In this particular session, we are going to focus on mobile ad hoc network. This is fundamental ad hoc network which is deal with the mobile nodes. So, mobile ad hoc network is nothing but a collection of mobile nodes which establish a network very spontaneously. They share the information, basically they communicate between each other through a shared wireless communication channel. This mobile ad hoc network does not require any pre-existing infrastructure. They are purely based on a rapidly deployable infrastructure services which is self controlled, and that does not require any pre-existing centralized administrator or a very few resources available for the configuration. So, let us see what are the features of this mobile ad hoc network. The mobile ad hoc network, as we are telling, they are rapidly deployable, they are self controlled, self configurable, self organized, and they are connecting through the wireless infrastructure less network. So, as we can see from day to day life, we are dealing with mostly mobile nodes. When we say about mobile nodes, that can be any communicating device which can be your mobile phone, your laptop, your iPad, your tablet, etc. So, the communication needs to be established in between on the fly, that does not require any pre planning, right. So, what happens with the scenario of mobile ad hoc network? The ad hoc network gets established between mobile nodes such a way that they use only wireless communication, and this is how mobile computing is very fast in recent trends. So, the prima feature of this particular mobile ad hoc network is about they are very self deployable, configurable and self motivated network. The wireless links are being used to establish the network, which is nothing but a fundamental the principle of this particular scenario. Cut. So, let us understand the basic features of mobile ad hoc network. The mobile ad hoc networks are rapidly deployable. They are self organized, self configured and self controlled. These are infrastructureless networks. The mobile ad hoc networks are considerable are flat networks. They communicate with each other through wireless links. Every computer or device, in this terminology of mobile ad hoc networks, we know it as a node. So, all the nodes in this particular mobile ad hoc networks, they communicate with each other through the shared medium, and which is nothing but the wireless communication. The nodes can be mobile, that means we do not know what the topology can be. The topology in this particular network can be very dynamic, and that makes a very importance of having mobile ad hoc networks in place. The nodes being able to relay traffic, since communicating node might go out of the range. You understand the scenario when we are transiting in vehicles. So, the vehicles are no longer steady, they can move from one place to another place. Forget about vehicles, just you are carrying your cell phone in your pocket and you are in movement. So, the mobile device which you are carrying is also in the transition. So, these mobile nodes are basically always remains in transition. So, that makes the topology, the connection between the mobile nodes very dynamic, and that is how mobile ad hoc networks deals with establishing the communication in between. So, in this particular case, and that is how mobile nodes needs to relay the traffic for one node to another node. So, they will be acting as the both, one being the source of the data, they can ask for the data, they want to initiate the communication in between, they can also pass the information of different nodes. So, in the world of communication we call it as router, they provide the routing mechanism for transmitting the information of other nodes to the another nodes. Mobile ad hoc networks can be standalone, they did not require or they do not require to be steady, they can be moved out of your particular area, but they can be straightforward located in a particular area. So, how it goes is, in a room you establish a network between your devices, but you do not connect this particular network to external interface. You do not know what the outside world look like, but still the communication happens among your devices. You can have your example of tethering. You share your information from one mobile device to another mobile device, right. At the same time, if one of the device connects to the internet, that is outside world, that internet connection can be shared in this particular network. So, that is how this network can be connected to the external entities, and the internet can be shared among the devices, though all devices which are part of this particular network are not connected to the internet device, or we can say to external world. So, what happens that only one mobile communicating node is having internet access, they share the particular internet services to other nodes, and that is how it forms a network. They can connect to the world without using the resources within to connect the external nodes. The application of mobile ad hoc network and considering the ad hoc scenarios, you can find various scenarios in day to day life. Very important aspect of ad hoc network is that we do not have any plan upfront. The network needs to be established on the fly, on demand, and that is for serving a particular purpose, and that is where a very well known scenarios occurs like military applications. What happens that military equipments in the war field, they need to configure a network, they need to communicate with each other. They are just out of the war, but they need to pass the signals among themselves. So, what they do? They establish a network within themselves, and that is on demand. So, that is not any pre-planned, and that is not with any wired links, that is not with any resources. Same way, if you consider about some sensor networks, as I previously told you about the scenario where you are controlling the set top box through your mobile device. So, it sends the signal, that is an ad hoc network. Same way, we will be having rescue operations. So, what happens in emergency scenarios? You do not know what is going to happen next, and you need to communicate between the entities which are part of this complete operation. They form a network. They will be having their commands passed through the network. This is how rescue operation will also utilize the feature of wireless communication to compute between the end entities. And at the same time, if one of node is having internet access, they can also pass or they can also receive the information from outside world. Same way, few business scenarios, few academic scenarios you will be seeing, like one need is to set up a conference. In business scenario, a conference is established in a room. They can form a network. Some external entity comes, they present the topic, but they are coming with their own laptop. Now, they need to connect their laptop to the environment where they are presenting. So, this is achieved through the ad hoc communication between the device and the resources. Same way in the academics, if you go out in the campus, if you are a research scholar, if you are a student in the institute, you are in a town hall or you are in just a play area. But what if you do not have any network, you do not have any resources, but still you want to communicate with each other, you want to pass some information, or bottom to any tree you want to read something, but you need internet access. What happens in daily life? You are no longer out of this world, you are just connected to any corner of the world. So, with the power of Wi-Fi technologies, the wireless communication, you can just connect your device to the internet. Same way, your group will connect to your device, you can start sharing information with each other. The scenarios of the application of ad hoc networks are many more. You can just relate your day to day life scenario where you are mobile, you are communicating with each other, that is nothing but the ad hoc network. Now, these applications, these features, these ad hoc characteristics of the network is of course comes with some challenges. So, let us see few challenges in establishing the mobile ad hoc network. Since the ad hoc network, as we are telling that they need to relay traffic between the nodes. So, they are called as multi-hoped network. The devices pass the information through one hop to another hop. So, multi-hopping requires to know where a particular mobile node resides. So, they need to establish a path before sending the information to other node. So, that is where a very important concept of routing protocols comes into the picture, and which we are going to cover in the other part of this particular session. So, this particular challenge where multi-hopping is required in the ad hoc routing network we need to establish the routing mechanism. The internet mechanism is also one challenge, considering you do not have any wireless communication. So, that will pinpoint your major drawback of having a complete setup of ad hoc establishment of the resources. The prima challenge of these mobile nodes is also considerable battery resources they are having. These mobile nodes are running on mostly mobile internet, they are using various resources, but they are running on battery. So, the power consumption for doing all sort of operations, they are dealing with the resource consumption in the mobile node, and they are not plugged in anywhere. So, battery lifetime is one constraint. Same way, the bandwidth constraint is also taking into picture when we are establishing the communication through such network. What happens, like you take an example that you are connected with some modem and which is wired connection, you are getting a very good bandwidth, Gbps, Mbps, any sort of link you are getting established through it. In the world of optical fibers, you start connecting your device through the wired resources and the bandwidth is awesome. But the wired scenario is not a case for all possible cases in the world. So, when we talk about establishing the ad hoc network, the bandwidth will remain constant, since the channel is wireless. They can be interacted through each other through the shared medium. So, the shared medium, as we say, that is used by all available entities in the same medium. So, the bandwidth will of course get distributed among it. At the same time, when we say about communicating to other nodes, then needs to be sure that yes, I know the root of the node, but how about if I do not reach to that particular node very quickly or directly. So, I need to rely on the information being passed through the other nodes. So, they need to be cooperative in between. So, the challenge of having mobile ad hoc network is also through the shared medium, and that can be disturbed through say some walls, some surroundings, air, noise, etc. So, your overall communication, which is of course through the wireless link, can be disturbed through that particular pinpointing area. Let us see some advantages. As we are continuing seeing about more challenges in establishing the ad hoc network, we also have a challenge of cooperativeness. You are, as we are discussing, the mobile computing node are basically dependent on each other, because they are not directly connected with the end party where they want to pass the message. So, the cooperativeness is must. All the nodes have to be trusted in the network. That means they do not forge the message in between, they do not see the message in between, and they reliably pass the message from one node to another node. So, that cooperativeness is also another challenge while forming the ad hoc network. We have also covered the points and the challenges regarding the battery constraints, the bandwidth constraints, etc., while forming the ad hoc network. So, let us move to few advantages of having mobile ad hoc networks in our day to day life. Mobile ad hoc network, as we have started our understanding, that it does not require any administration work, that is zero administration. It does not require any pre-existing resources, they do not need any centralized controlling authority to form the network. So, that is zero administration. You do not need to worry about some controlling entity with more resources which can control the all other nodes which needs to communicate in between. The advantages of having mobile ad hoc network, that they are flexible enough. You do not need to worry whether more devices can be joined or not. Your network is kind of scalable where you need to add some devices. You can just come to the shared medium, you start sharing the services which is being established through this particular network, and that is in. So, that node in ad hoc basis it got added into the network. So, that is how it is very flexible in nature. It does not require any pre-planning for forming the network, or if you need to add any other workstation which was not originally planned, or any forming establishment procedures, but you can just add it to the network. Having flexibility in the network and having used of wireless communication, it gives us the nature and the benefit in the cost. Compared to wired network, you do not need to worry about having resources. Just like in wired network, you need to bring the wires, you need to bring the devices, routers, everything. So, that you need to procure, you need to set up your network. But in case of ad hoc network, in mobile devices, they are just self equipped, they are self organized, they are having the resources within, they can just start connecting with each other through the shared medium, and that is all which you need to establish the network. So, that does not require any expensive need of forming the network, and that is where we call it as a chip network in considering the wired network scenarios. Mobile ad hoc network, as we understand, it does not require any pre-existing background, or it does not require any formation needs. So, they can be rapidly deployable in any scenario. When you need to establish some emergency scenario or emergency network in remote area or rural area, you do not need to worry about getting all resources, forming the towers, forming the waves, the optical fibers, the wired network, the routers and all. In case of this particular scenarios in remote areas, you can start plugging your devices to your own self controlled devices and just form the network in between through the wireless communication. However, we will be having few disadvantages of mobile ad hoc network. Mobile ad hoc network, as we are repeatedly understanding that these are mobile nodes, they are running on battery. So, battery is a kind of disadvantage that we will be having while forming the mobile ad hoc network. Yes, if you are in a room, if you are in a setup where you can plug your devices to the electrical equipment where you can get the charge in the devices, that is fine. But when you are out of that particular area, when you do not have any supply, you need to rely on the battery power of the mobile computing node. The disadvantage of having mobile nodes to form a network and to pass the information to some remote node which is not directly connected to the particular node which wants to establish communication, they need to rely on intermediate nodes. So, that is where some trustworthy nature of mobile nodes comes into the picture. If some eavesdrops comes into your network, we cannot restrict them, right. These eavesdrops can bring their own devices, they will be equipped with the similar kind of functionality which your particular network is having. They can share the open wireless communication, they can come into the picture of your established network. So, what if they come into your network, they get the packets, the message which you are sending and which is not ultimately intended for that particular node, but they can still capture the information from the wireless shared channel. So, that is one disadvantage of having shared channel, but of course, we can prevent it using the security mechanism of various features available, and we can of course modify the common configuration of the routing nature of mobile ad hoc network. So, to overcome such all disadvantage of mobile ad hoc network and the main challenge of establishing the channel between the computing nodes, that is where the fundamental understanding of routing protocol requires. So, let us understand what is routing protocol. We need to know the importance of routing protocol in establishment of mobile ad hoc network. In any scenario of ad hoc situation, as we are keep on saying that just go out, share the common channel in between, start computing your information, but that is not only need. The mobile node or the equipment you are using, they need to be a kind of well known to the routing mechanism. But why we need routing protocols? There are certain motivations behind creating the routing protocols, behind establishing the routing mechanism within the software of such computing nodes. So, the primary motivation of this particular routing protocol is the multi-hopping nature of ad hoc protocol, ad hoc networking. What happens that you establish a network, you need to start computing, you need to start communicating with other nodes, and the scenario is passing the information to the other nodes, but through multiple nodes, which is we call it as multiple hops. So, that is the nature of the primary feature of ad hoc network, multi-hopping. So, that is one primary motivation behind having routing protocols. Another important fact of having routing protocol is about the very large network size. You cannot assume what would be your network size. They can grow, they can dynamically change. Your mobile nodes can communicate with the nodes which are still not in the overall transmission area of that particular node. So, the network size can grow with the time, with the need. So, that is also one key factor of having routing protocol, which is very large in network size. We also know about bandwidth constraint. We also know about the battery lifetime constraints in establishment of mobile ad hoc network. So, what if you are said that all the work, all the assignments that needs to be carried out from yourself only, that is burden, right? So, same way if we consider about mobile node, which is being asked to perform all sort of things which is required to connect to external entity, they are being programmed to pass the information, they are at the same time then they will have their own softwares running. So, it deals with the battery lifetimes. The common shared channel is having the bandwidth issues as well. So, distributing the particular responsibility to other nodes, to other entities which are still under the same network, you just ask for routing information to other nodes, that is all you require to communicate with the node. So, that is how we keep on telling about cooperativeness in the establishment of ad hoc network. The mobile ad hoc network, the routing protocols, we should be having a primary goal. And what is primary goal behind this routing mechanism? As you can understand, the primary goal of having this network is nothing but establishing the network such a way that communication can happen. And the communication does not mean that it is just passing the information from one end to another end. The communication needs to be passed from one end to another end, that is true, but needs to be passed in reliable manner, in timely manner. So, the primary goal of having routing protocol is nothing but establishment of such routing path in between the pair of mobile nodes, which can start communicating with each other with the established route, and the messages can be delivered very reliably. They can be delivered very reliably as well as in timely manner. You will always wanting to receive some messages in timely manner, and that is also very accurate. So, this is how routing protocol behaves. The importance of routing protocol is just to establish communication in between reliably. So, let us start understanding the architecture of routing protocols. Routing protocols are having primarily two fundamental points. One is they can be of flat in nature. They can be flat in nature as well as they can be hierarchical. In terms of flat networks, the mobile nodes which are part of this particular network, they do not have knowledge of all the nodes, where they are placed, where what they are performing, what information they are having for establishing the communication. The flat network consists of mobile nodes which are just knowing about themselves. They are having the information, the identifier of their own particular device. They do not require to know the end node or the destination node where they want to establish communication, where they reside, what is kind of technology they are using. So, this is how flat network is built, having own identifier. The hierarchical nature of this algorithm, the fundamental architecture of routing protocol, in this particular case there will be hierarchy. There will be a network which will be formed into disjoint clusters, and one leader, one cluster head will be formed. They will be knowing the topology, the mobile nodes, where they are placed, how they are placed, the information they are having. So, they will be behaving that way. Apart from the architecture, the classification of routing protocol is very much important. We are having primarily three classification. Very important nature of routing protocol is to understand under which classified protocol they are working with. We have proactive nature, reactive nature and hybrid nature of routing protocol. The proactive protocols, as the name suggests, they are table driven. They are proactive. They know everything before starting the communication part. So, they sense the link of the channel. They will be participating in the communication with already known information to reach to the end node. Just opposite to it is the next about reactive protocols. Reactive protocols is on demand. Whenever you require to know about end node before reaching to the destination, at that time the route discovery will be initiated. So, it is kind of reactive nature, it is lazy loaded nature of the mobile node, and that is having its own advantages as well. So, reactive protocols, they are on demand. They will be initiating the route discovery whenever they need to start the communication. Now, as we understand and we will be gradually know about more in detail of proactive and reactive nature, they will have their own constraints, advantages as well as disadvantages as well. So, to combine both the approaches of having proactiveness and reactiveness, we will be having hybrid nature. The hybrid protocol is nothing but the combination of both the types, proactive and reactive. So, at certain boundary of your of the particular established network, the mobile nodes can react very proactively. They will be having the information of nodes within certain radius of a particular boundary. So, they can just pull out information very quickly from their internal stored information, and they can start communicating. But if they need to go beyond the predefined boundary, they can start reacting to it. That is how they will be turned into reactive nature of the protocol. So, they will at that particular time start route discovery for reaching to end node. So, to put all together, we will be having different routing protocols in recent times. That ad hoc routing taxonomy, if you can see, will be having different protocols categorized into the different classifications. We have various protocols under proactive, reactive and hybrid. Also, you can notice that few of the protocols are hierarchical routing protocols, the others are flat. So, let us see how it is look like by putting everything together. You can see that under ad hoc routing we have three classification: proactive, reactive and hybrid. A different example of protocols under proactive, under reactive and under hybrid. We will be coming to know in detail of particular routing protocol under each category in next session, but as you can see that few of routing protocols are also placed as hierarchical routing protocols, rest are put as flat. So, they just know about their own identifier. A complete taxonomy of different protocols you can always study from different materials from the next tab you are having. We will be focusing one for each routing classification, that is optimized link state routing protocol OLSR, ad hoc on demand distance vector routing protocol which is AODV and zone routing protocol ZRP, that is from hybrid category. So, in next session we will be understanding more in detail of these three routing protocols. So, let us conclude what we have learned from this particular session. We have understood the importance of wireless communication to form a network which is completely on demand, which we know it as ad hoc network. In particular, ad hoc network will be having different types: MANETs, VANETs or WSNs. In specifically to mobile ad hoc networks, we have understood various features, various advantages, disadvantages, of course, the challenges with mobile ad hoc networks. We have also touched based on the fundamentals of routing protocols, why they are important, a different architecture level of routing protocols, the classification of routing protocol and a various example of routing protocols from each category. We will be covering more in detail in next session. So, each category of the routing protocol will be touch base. Thank you.